Have you ever thought about doing a wedding expo or bridal exposition or even quinceañera exposition? So I went on a little thing last year of exploring different things. And in this week's episode, I really wanted to share my experience with it, what I've learned behind the scenes from it, just to kind of share with you what I've learned through bridal expos and wedding expositions and quinceañera expositions. To help you and guide you in case you want to do that or you don't want to do that, the good and the pros and cons of it, and the in between. So that's what this episode is going to be about. So with that, let's get started. So I started about wedding expos. So this is not just one, I've done a couple of different ones. And first of all, let's talk the reality of it. A lot of people do that to put their business out there, right? And it can be great to build your social media following if you know how to do it with strategy. It can be great to build your email list, right? If you're collecting email lists through a giveaway or through something on purpose when you're doing this. But my question to you is your ideal bride really there? I think it's really important that you remember. So a lot of the, brides that go to these expositions, they're looking for a deal, right? Or maybe they're looking for the last thing they need to book. Maybe this is oh my gosh, I need my photographer, so I'm gonna go book my photographer today, right? So maybe they're gonna go not necessarily for the best deal, but for the photographer that fits more what the aesthetic and feel of the pictures that they want to feel. For hair and makeup, this has been my own experience. I'm not saying this to be all and all. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest behind. But what I've learned is that there's a lot of pricing, right? First of all, pricing, they're trying to get a good deal. Second of all, also the vibe, can they connect with you? And third of all, is your ideal bride there is my question to you. And you won't know unless you already know. So what I really loved about it is that it really helped me to really listen to the brides and connect with them in real, time. But I've learned that it wasn't necessarily something I had to do for my business, nor was it worth the investment. So if you're going to go do a bridal expo, think about also the investment in it. Are you really going to get your monies out of it, right? Worth out of it, and not just in bookings but also your time and preparation, because honestly it takes a lot of time and preparation to have the goodies and the bags and the promotional content and being able to talk to all the brides, and it's all at once when it happens there. And I did this solo on both those events at different places, and I really wish I had somebody else with me. The booth would have been more. I think it was $400 more to bring, or $500 more to bring somebody else with me. So I do recommend that you take somebody with you. It can be less overwhelming, but it was a really good learning experience for me. Now, for investment wise, I always say, think about your ideal client. Is your ideal client really there, right? And it just really helped me to really hone in on my message, to really make it more clear. So that's where I'm really grateful for that experience. But I also got a lots of I'm talking about, but the cons of it is if you don't get enough bookings and you're making huge investments in it, is it really worth it? There's a lot of preparation that goes before, during, and after the event. So it was just a lot of work. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. It was a lot of work. So that's something to really think about. And I wanted to put out this episode right now in July. I know it's going to be July 4th because I'm going camping. And I started thinking, I'm man, we're getting into August, September, October, right? October is the November, December. I will be continue to work the rest of the year, on location, whether it's weddings or special events, hairstyling and makeup services with the other amazing women that work alongside me. But I started thinking bridal season's almost out here, getting very close to that season, and wedding expos and things. I'm well, this would be so helpful right now to share at this moment in case you want to sign up for one, to really think about it. Think about these three things, as I said. Number one, is your ideal bride really there? And only you know that. Sometimes we think oh, well, once your brides come there and, and it's true, you can get really good things, but is your ideal bride really there? Number two, you're going to have to prep before, during, and after. Number three is the investment, right? And it's not just paying for the event, to go to the event. It's also all the marketing and everything, and the preparation and decor and all the things that you have to do to set up for the event, because it does add up, like, just to give you like a rough like idea. Like the first one I did, I probably spent like $2,500 because I had nothing. But then when I started doing more, then it was easier because I already had my decor and some of my printed materials and some of the things I give away and all that stuff, and I had a system down. So it was so much easier. But I wanted to share the reality that sometimes we think like, I just pay like $500 or $700 or $1,000 to go to this event, but it's so much more than that, and the energy behind it that it takes. So that's just something to really consider. Okay, so the other part, let's talk about quinceañeras, or like even if you do like different type of expositions for different events, it's gonna be different than a bride. And I learned that from going to a Quince Expos, this huge Quince Expo in Sacramento, which is around an hour and a half from where I live. And it was just so interesting because I live like in a different county, but there's some of the locations where people were having their events was really close to me. And I'm just sharing this, like out of love and things, to kind of help you. So what I really learned is that it's different, right? Like every event is going to be different. Quinceañeras are like, it can be it is a really big industry as well. But who's dictating that one is different. It's either the quinceañera or it's either the mom of the quince who's dictating the decisions of all that. So I just think it's so important that, like you also remember, like when you go to these events, like who is your ideal clientele, who's your clientele there, how they do business, right? And what I mean by that is like, let's say you're going to go to Quince Expo, right? And you want to do everything digital. Okay, let's say like, okay, I'm going to do everything digital. But maybe your ideal client doesn't really like doing everything digital. Maybe this client prefers a phone call, or they prefer an email, right? And I think as business owners, we forget sometimes, like, we're not here for us, we're here for our clients, right? And how they do business. Like, I remember for the longest time, I used to get crap like, oh my gosh, Celeste, you do Venmo for business. That's so unprofessional. Okay, I used to get that all the time. But the reality was that a lot of my clients were paying me that way. And I was getting paid like thousands of dollars from that. And I have a business account. I claim all my money. They take 1.9%, which is way less at the time when I used to do that. And it's way less than the 2.9 or 3.5% that this other booking companies want to take from me, for my money that, the client pays me. So I did go Venmo, and my client really loves paying me on Venmo. They love to tip me on there as well. So why am I sharing this with you? Because sometimes in business, it's not what everybody else wants to do. It's not what's trending. It's not what social media says we should do to look professional. It's really how our clients do business, right? Sometimes people like will sell you, or different forms of business. You can take credit card payments, which I do as well, or have systems, to do different type of forms of payments. But it's really important that we just remember, how does a client do business, and how can we make it easy to do business with us? If you think about going to your favorite coffee shop, is it easy to do business with them? Is it hard? This is one coffee shop I used to love going to, and they have made it so hard because I never know how much I'm going to pay, right? Like, I choose not to do a lot of dairy in my diet, just for health reasons, and I think I'm gonna have to even back out even more from my dairy intake. But so I use oat milk is like a big thing for me. So when I go to a place, I don't know, okay, like how much is it for additional oat milk? And sometimes my drinks, like my coffee drinks can add up even to $9, and that's a lot. I know it is a lot. I'm in California though, but I don't want to spend $9 all the time on a coffee. So there's different places I will go where I know exactly how much I'm going to pay. Even for me, I want to know how much I'm going to pay that day. Because sometimes I like to pay cash, right? So we always have to put ourselves back in that consumer shoes of okay, I know I'm a business owner, but also how are my clients asking to do business to make it easy for them, right? How many of us have gone to businesses where they only take cash? I've been there, where there's businesses that I go to that I love going to, but they only take cash, or you can only tip them in cash, or you can only pay on Venmo. It's like, no, like we're supposed to make business easy for people, right? I love using my debit card, so I need somebody who can take my freaking debit card because I don't carry cash all the time. So again, think about that when you're doing all these events and you're going to be collecting deposits. How can you make it easy for that client to do business with you? So going back to the digital part, like if your client is not really big digitally, how can you make it easy to have, like paper documents and make it also efficient for you, right? Right now with technology, like we can scan documents, put them in a folder, put them in systems, like just what I utilize. I utilize HoneyBook, and I'll put it in the show notes so you can learn more about it. I've been using them for years. I love it. It tracks for all the emails, all the pictures clients sent me, contracts, invoices I sent to them. They can pay on there. It's just such an amazing system. Like I really love it. It was a little bit of a learning curve, but it has really made my business in a way where like it gives, that trust for both my client and for myself, because they know when I'm collecting their money, they're not just going just solely based on my word. They also have like a contract that's backing that up for them, that they know they can rely on me and I will be there for them. So the same thing goes, like I really want you to start thinking about that. Like how can you make your business like something to do, easy to do business with? And I want to share this story with you, which pertains to this episode about going to expositions, whether it's for weddings or quinceañeras. So when I was getting married, I didn't have to give a deposit and I did not sign a contract. And I just had to trust that they were going to show up. And I remember the night before I couldn't sleep. I was sleeping at my sister's house. My husband was, my future to be husband was at, Gus was at our apartment. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if they don't show up? I'm going to do it with my hair. I'm going to do it with my makeup. Of course they showed up. But I was so stressed out, okay? I was so stressed out because I hadn't given a deposit and I didn't get a contract or anything signed so that I knew they were going to be there. The reason why I share that is because that has really helped me as a business owner now to have systems in place to give my clients reassurance. And sharing one of my clients' stories. So I have a client, she's a regular because she's like every 3 weeks on a dot, she's here. And I love her. And if she's for a color service, so she's for like a great root coverage. And I usually, I have my booking system, which is separate from my wedding booking system that I utilize. I'll put that in the show notes too. I use Gloss Genius. I've been using them since like 2018. And they usually do automatic reminders. And I didn't put an automatic reminder that time because we booked it like within a couple of days. I'm like, I had just texted her the day before and everything. And it was hilarious because that day she's like, oh my gosh, Celeste, I am so used to getting your reminders. I didn't get your reminder. I wanted to make sure I can still go see you today for my cover, for my appointment. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course you can, we just talked yesterday, so I just assume. And it was such a beautiful example because she's been a long time client, okay? Like she's been with me since, holy crap, since 2017, since I was in beauty school. So we've had a long relationship. And even just that one time that I didn't put her in my book to send the automatic reminders, she noticed a difference. And it was such a beautiful reminder that I want to share with you today because this is not about making a mistake. It was not a mistake. It's just a beautiful reminder that things that we may take for granted as business owners, our clients really love, right? So although you may be kind of hesitant of like setting reminders, or even like with HoneyBook, it has a system where like if a payment is due or is coming up due, it sends reminders to my clients, hey, the payment's coming up due, And you may think, oh, that's so annoying. Or you may be worried like, oh my gosh, I do not want to annoy my client. They appreciate that. They're busy, right? They're planning their lives, especially when it comes to weddings and special events like quinceañeras. They have so many vendors to work with. It's nice to get those reminders, and it's nice to have that reassurance that, hey, I don't know what's going on with everybody else, but I am here for you, and I'm here to support you on the day that you need me. And, even before that and after that as well. So it's just such a beautiful reminder of that, right? So like, let's start thinking when you go also to like expos and events. Let's go to part number 2 of this. So I've talked about, the digital, the time it's going to take, the money, and also the preparation of it and thinking about your ideal client. How are you going to show up to this? So I want to give you some of my top 5 tips that nobody told me, that I learned the hard way, but you don't have to, okay? Because I go through the little trenches for you. I can be your little guide in helping you with this. Number 1, don't do your makeup. What? You're going to be setting up and sweating, and it's going to be a hot mess. So what I did is I didn't even have my outfit on, because I know it's going to get dirty. You're carrying stuff in and out. You're putting stuff up and down. You're setting up, and I was setting up by myself. So, of course, I was sweaty. And I was like, if I do my makeup, it's all going to fall apart and everything, right? So I decided to just go in with comfy clothes. I stood on my setup. Then after I changed and I did my makeup and my hair in the bathroom, and it looked great. It was fresh. It looked nice. My outfit was cute. I got so many compliments on my outfit that day. I remember one of the expos that I went to, they loved it. And I felt good too, because I had just gone from this sweaty hot mess into like, okay, this is my clothes. I feel confident. I feel good. I'm ready to go talk to all this, potential clients. So that's my number 1 tip, is do not go ready. Like, get ready there. Or if your hair is prepped and you want to just like kind of have it prepped and ready to just like pull out the pins and style it and be ready to change and go, that's awesome too. But it is going to be messy and you are going to get dirty. So don't wear your outfit. Have a separate outfit for that. Number 2, make sure that you have snacks. So I took snacks because sometimes like you get so busy you can't go anywhere. You can't get food. So take snacks. Take something to drink, because it's so important that you do that. Number 3, make friends with your vendors next to you. Like it's really hard when you go by yourself. Like I went by myself, but even if you go with somebody, how nice is it to talk to other vendors? Like one of the vendors we talked to, and actually to remind my sister about this, you see, we're planning a quince over here. One of the vendors that I talked to, she was so kind, so sweet. I think she let me borrow a pair of scissors. And I'm sharing this with you because watch this. My sister will be booking her to do my niece's photography for the quince. She does beautiful photography, like stunning. And it all happened because she let me borrow a pair of scissors. I saw her work. She said she's so nice and knowledgeable. And I'm like, this is somebody that I want my niece, like, to do my niece's pictures. And my sister just loved the photography. But I really love that photographer's professionalism. And that's how that happened, right? She didn't know. Like, I was a vendor. She didn't know that I had a niece who was planning a quince. And she probably doesn't know that I'm going to start planning my own daughter's quince in the next 2 years. Like, it's going to be my turn because I am a planner. So I need stuff done in advance, especially for quinces and with weddings and the venue that I want. I know I'm going to have to do this way ahead of time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you never know who you're talking to, even though there's vendors around you. Make friends with your vendors. Not just that, but also, like, I gave that vendor business, but the vendor next to me, I had to go use the restroom, and I'm like, hey, can you watch my booth? Here's where I go. And like, yeah, of course, and I went, I came back. They were so kind and sweet. We talked, and it was awesome to find out it was their first wedding expo. They were a brand new business, and it was just a nice way to connect, right? And I'm sharing this because, like, I think it's so important that we don't think like, oh, everybody's my competition, because it's not about that. I got to meet this really awesome makeup artist there too. She was so nice. Actually, 2 of them were super kind and nice. And I'm just sharing that with you because for me, it's always like, when I really truly mean I don't believe in competition, I really don't. Even on, that'll be for a different episode. Yeah, I won't talk about that today. But yeah, so make friends with the vendor next to you. That's tip number 3. Okay, tip number 4 is, remember, not everybody's for you, and you're going to repel and attract. The more comfortable that you get with repelling and attracting, the better. Not all the brides that come to you or come to me are going to be the ones. I'm not the one for them, and they're not the one for me. We have to remember, too, there's personalities. We're humans, right? There's connection, and especially when you're, like, genuine and you're being, who you truly are, and expressing that to the world, you're not going to attract everybody, and you are going to repel people. And that's beautiful, because you're going to attract the right people for you. This past weekend, I had this amazing, like, I love my brides, honestly. Like, all of them have been so amazing this year. Even last year, like the past years, like, I just work with really awesome brides. I feel so freaking blessed for that. I really do. I don't take that for granted. They're so awesome. And I just had the best time with her family, with her. It was just such a beautiful, like, full circle experience. And she wrote this beautiful. Like, she sent me this beautiful message. She sent me pictures of her hair like 2 days after her wedding. It was just so beautiful. What a beautiful experience. I really am gonna miss her, and I loved working with her and her family. They were so amazing. And I'm sharing that with you because that is the type of brides I love to work with. And those are the type of brides I work with, but that is by design. Nothing just happens magically. So I'm sharing this with you because I think it's so important that you remember, I'm going to attract and repel brides. I'm going to attract and repel people to my business, and that is a healthy business. If you're saying yes to everybody or you're saying no to everybody, there's something wrong there. So remember, you're going to these events, if you're going to do expositions, wedding expos and things, you're going to be attracting people and repelling them too. And, like, be open to the experience. Be open to also what you will learn from that. And with that, with the attracting and repelling, my last tip for you, tip number 5, is please showcase your personality, showcase who you truly are, and take notes. This is what I mean by that. So if you don't, I don't no longer wear strip lashes because I have gone through a process of letting my natural lashes grow. I have a lash curler that I love that makes my lashes look like I have an eyelash lift. People always ask me, oh my gosh, I love it. And I tell them it's an eyelash curler. And I also got this amazing mascara that's not waterproof but made my eyelashes grow to the point where they touch actually my, eyebrows, which feels so nice. Especially since I don't have that much of an eyebrow hairs up in here. But it's been awesome. So I am not going to go show up at a wedding expo with lashes or strip lashes because that's not me. That's not who I look like every day. I'm not going to go show up at an expo dressed as something as I wouldn't wear every day or if you came to see me, right? So that's something that's so important. They showcase your personality, who you truly are. It may look different than how everybody else is dressed like. It may look different where all the trends are going, but it has to be really true to who you are and what you represent, right? That's what it means to showcase your personality, connect with people really based on that. Because it's really important. It's gonna help you to attract the right brides. And please excuse the dog next door barking. And what I mean by take notes, listen to your brides, listen to what they're saying when they walk by your booth. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's a good idea. Or I really liked X, like a certain thing about you. Or I really love that you blank. Or I really like that you do this, right? Pay attention to all those because those are coming from your potential clients. That's what they're liking. Or if they're confused, wait, so when I saw this, I was confused by, take notes on that too. What confused them, right? So let me just give you like a quick example, right? So let's say, for example, I saw this with one of the vendors, which I really wanted to share with you. So there was a vendor there. There was a photo booth vendor in one of these events. I'm not going to say who it was. It was just a vendor. And they had this amazing, gorgeous flower display. Like, it was so beautiful. I loved it. Like, it was a flower wall. And, oh my gosh, I love this. And they're like, oh, where did you buy this, right? And the way it was displayed, it kind of was separate from the rest of the stuff. So it did look like it was just a really pretty thing, there's like a backdrop. And they're like, oh no, we rent this. So this is part of our package. Like, you can actually rent this. Oh, okay. So just like, and it people kept repeating that and asking, where do you buy this? Where do you buy this? I'm like, oh, we rent this, right? So knowing that, there's clearly a disconnection where the client is not seeing that the photo booth and the flower walls come together or can come together as one. There is been that disconnection. So, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good learning lesson to be like, okay, like, how can we make this very clear so they understand that this is part of our package, flower wall, like photo booth package, maybe a sign with that, really emphasizing that, or like have this at your wedding sign, right? So they really understand, oh, I can have this whole thing at my wedding. Like, it can be a possibility. So that's what I mean. Like, and it happens to me too. Like, it's not just for this business. I'm just using this example because I think we all can generalize and kind of see where that's coming from. Listen to our clients, right? So for my clients, when they're like, hey, Celeste, like, So I've been hearing about this. What do you think? Right? That's when I do my reviews. And sometimes, like, honestly, even with my clients, when I listen to them, sometimes I do that for them, but sometimes people will get mad at me too. Like, I just had this incident where I did a review because all my clients were talking to me about this like scalp growth serum, and it said in the bottle, it says all hair types. So that means anybody, any type of hair can utilize this. And people were coming at me on TikTok. They're like, oh, well, your hair is this, and it's not meant for your hair. It's not meant for your hair. It's not meant for your hair. Just because this is like a curly hair line, but it's an all hair line too. It says all hair types. And that's where I got kind of upset, like not mad. I'm just like, well, I don't care what, I'm like, I read the bottle. The bottle says all hair types. So I am going to do this review based on what the bottle says, all hair types. It doesn't say curly hair growth serum. It says hair growth serum, growth hair oil serum. And it's in the back, it says for all hair types. So yeah, and then later on, I saw that the company came out with a different type of oil that is for like thinner hair or for straight hair or whatever. But that's what I mean. Like, when you're gonna package something, right? If you only wanted to do it for your curly clientele, you should be very clear about that. The bottle shouldn't say all hair types, or maybe you should say only curly hair oil, or scalp oil, right? So it's just all these things and examples that I'm sharing with you today. It's just learning experiences just from every day and things that I go through, but also to help you when you go to expositions or when you go to quinceañeras, to really expos, to Quince Expos, that's what they're called, Quince Expos, or any type of event where you're going to be promoting your business, or meeting potential clients and you're promoting there, and you have a booth, to really remember, like, it's just not about being like on a guard, or it's not about being like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be on the defensive. It's like, okay, so they keep saying this, how can I take this and make this for my advantage and help my client make doing business with me easier and make my message even more clear? And as we start to do that, as I've started to do that even myself in my business, to like, I'm not in the defensive. I'm like, how can I learn from this? Or my client doesn't like the shampoo, why not? Or my client does love the shampoo, why is it? Or, sometimes they'll be like, oh, because sometimes I run out of product, when I sell it. And they'll be like, oh, Celeste, you don't have any new product today. They notice, like, those little cues that we listen. Like, if we're willing to listen, observe, take note, and apply, it can help us grow so much. So guess what? So now I have different bottles of different things in there, and I just fell in love with this amazing detangler, which I'm going to be talking about because I really freaking love it. My hair loves it. My hair's so soft, and I think it's a mix of this and the scalp and the new oil that I'm using, the scalp oil before I shower, that's like doing amazing things. So all this stuff really helps me. When I listen to my clients, it really helps me in my business. And I always know that I am very knowledgeable, but I can always learn if I'm willing to have an open mind, right? And an open ear. So when you go to these events, remember, it's not just about the clients that you book. It's not just about getting your business name out there, but also what can you learn from it? Like, what can make you a stronger business owner? And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please go have fun this week. It's going to be so awesome. Going camping, the 4th, most everything is closed. I hope you have time to just, whether it's read a book or go out with friends or be out camping with, like me, like a psycho, my best friend says, because I'm going to be out in 106-degree weather. Enjoy this holiday and in July 4th. And if it's past July 4th, remember to also enjoy your life, to have fun, enjoy the summer, enjoy the seasons, and make it your best life. But also, when you go to invest to these events, whether you get a booking or you get multiple bookings or you get no bookings, remember, everything is a learning experience in this life. And the more that we're able to listen and have an open mind to everybody else's input and become stronger business owners, the better. We never stop learning. We're always learning more and more. And that's what really makes us to thrive as a business owner. So I hope this episode helped you. Thank you so much, love. And I'll see you back here next week. Bye, love.